Okay, yeah, we're going to proceed now for part two of our lesson on array. So, what we're going to do right now is try to create a program that can actually display the first and last element of an array. But challenge for this program is we will be asking the user to enter the size of an array. If it is 5 example, then we will be asking the user to enter 5 values, and then we will determine which one is the first and the last element. Okay, we're going to get started now. All right, so on this option, I will create a new file. I'll just simply click here as the finding element. Okay, I'll just use the word find element. Okay, that's CPP. So this will be the name of my file. Now I'll be typing the whole code in here, which is the usual. Then number include IO string. Oops, should be IO string. Okay, kind of slow in typing. Then using namespace std. Okay, then int main, then curly braces. Oops, I think there's a redundant. See, in my curly brace, I have entered it twice. So I'll deposit here and the center. Then the first thing we're going to do is declare a variable for our looping, since the expected output for this is to ask the user for the size of the number, then I mean values to be entered, followed by determining the first and last element in the array. How we're going to do it? Okay, let's start now by declaring a variable. Since we will be applying a for loop for this, we have to declare first our variable name. Let's say I'm going to use the I, and then I'm going to use here referring to our maximum value. Let's say I'm going to just initialize it to A, then let's say the maximum numbers that I can use to enter is up to 50. Okay, next is we're going to declare the size. Okay, now we're done starting with our declaration. First, we will ask the user to enter. Okay, enter the array size. Let's say we're going to provide some information to the user. It should be can only enter maximum of 50. Okay, let me just close it. Okay, and then end of column. Next is add. Since we want to store the size being entered by the user, we will therefore use the CIN or console input and then call in our variable name called size. Next that we're going to do here, we'll be displaying what we want to display. Okay, let's start off with the number of elements. Okay, have the option to have the spacing. If not, then just edit way. Okay, enter array element. Okay, so you have the option for the next line. Instead of entering it within the row or line, then you better add some new line instead. And next that we will be doing, okay, so enter the array elements, then we're going to use the for loops for our iteration. So since we already initialized the I will just have to type it here. Okay, now here the size is depending on what you have entered here. Then it will try to iterate it and continue and loosen. So the way it tries to loop, it will be asking for some information like, okay, what do you want to display or tell the user to do? Okay, I can say enter. Let's say the name is array, okay, or variable. And then inside the bracket, we have to pull here that. And okay, what's a valid I? Then so we can call in the enter array referring to that value. So we need to fill in that information. Okay, just have to finish it. Then brackets, then element. So I can to put here element, colon, then it just finish it. Semicolon. Okay, there are no more error. So what will happen here if the size is 5, then start with the 0, 1, enter array 0 element, then as for the value, then it will display again enter array bracket 1 element, then ask the user to enter the next value. So this is the purpose of this iteration. Okay, now what is next? After entering the element, of course we need to use the console input, and we will be calling in this one, okay, the maximum size, okay, which is referring to the one that we asked to our user. Okay, now after this curly brace, we're going to display here cout. Okay, um, quote first. Okay, I will just put this in the next line because I'm not going to put this or adding a new line. Then what will happen? It will be displayed on the next row. I'll just show it to you later once we're done typing here. Okay, first number in the array is, and I'm going to call up here. Okay, another one, which is a bracket, which is referring to 0. So that's the first element, if you can recall displaying the result. Okay, and line. So we have now our first part, first value. Then next is display the last element. Okay, for this case, I can also put here plus n, and I can say last number in the array is, then call in the value here, which is referring to a, and inside the bracket we'll use the formula, which is size minus 1, then for the bracket, let's finish it, minus 1. If you can remember in the part 1 topic, we use the n minus 1 or x minus 1, which is referring to the value depending on the size or values entered by the user. Okay, so n line, I forgot the n line. Okay, then we're going to add the return 0. Okay, let's try to add here return 0. Okay, I think we're done with our code. What we're going to do right now is try to run this one for us to check whether the code is working or not. Okay, let's try to run, and I'm going to make this one bigger. I hope I'm going to, okay. Enter the array size. Let's say I'll be asking the user up to 5 only. And I'll type here 5. And then the next thing the system will do is ask me, okay, how many? Okay, what's the value for the first element? Say this is 5. For the second element, 10. And 8. 7. Then another 9. So the first number in the array is 5. Okay, if you're going to take a look in our output, we ask the user to enter the size or the number of elements you want to enter. So I put here 5, and now in the first element, we had here 5, and 10, 8, 7, 9. So here the system was able to determine the first number in the array, which is 5, referring to this one. Okay, this is the first element. Now the 9 here is referring to our last element. Okay, and the 5 here is the first element. Therefore, our code is actually working. Okay, now let me just close it and control out. Okay, that is how to write a program that can determine the first and last element using an array. So going back to our code, we actually have it here. Okay, so if in case you have the question, okay, what will happen, ma'am, if I'll put here 51 is the answer? Well, it's not logical to enter 51 because it is more than the size. It cannot be. Okay, and in this example, we are using a combination of for loops and array. So we have demonstrated here on finding the first and last number the array. Okay, so we will proceed to the next problem.